The next volume of the third-year arc will be the best volume Classroom of the Elite ever has, or so do I hope. Since it most likely will release at the same time as anime season 4, it's just natural that the hype will be high for the next volume. Although we still didn't know when exactly it would be released, it's never wrong to put some expectation about what you want to happen, no matter if it makes sense or not. For example, maybe you want Ayanokoji and Ichinose to spend the night together while Shibata watch the tent for them, or maybe you want Harikita to turn Super Saiyan and slaughter Ayanokoji. However, based on story progression so far, there are at least 4 things that definitely need to happen in the next volume, so let's take a look at it one by one. The talk about whether Kouenji actually possess a threat toward Ayanokoji has become a long-time debate in the Classroom Elite community. However, since Kouenji already achieved enlightenment and doesn't bother himself with children playing, we never saw him get serious even after 11 years of serialization. But fortunately, Volume 12.5 gives us a bit of hope that the match between them would actually happen. In the latest volume, we got a glimpse of Kouenji's ability even though he doesn't have any scenes with Ayanokoji. Since we are still in the early part of the third year, I don't think it's good to have them having a big clash without a proper build-up, but it will be nice if they play a little game in the next exam. It doesn't need to be a strategic battle or a 100-meter race, but just a simple mind game should be fine to make them aware of each other. It will be wise to have them play a small role at first before taking a bigger part in the story later. Or, if they really want to show off Kouenji in the next volume, they better not make him lose against Ayanokoji, because that would be really disappointing of him. Kouenji has been hyped up ever since the first volume, so it makes no sense to kill all that hype in a single volume. However, from the story's point of view, Kouenji is not destined to win. He still has a protection point, and the main character from his class is Harikita, so it's just undeniable that Kouenji will taste defeat and eventually help Harikita aim for Class A. It's just a simple prediction, and a little twist would be welcome, but if Kouenji is really going to lose, I just hope it's not going to be a one-sided humiliation. The relationship between Harikita and Ishigami is still full of mystery, because their brief encounter in Volume 2 third-year arc ended in such a cliffhanger that it left a lot of questions and speculation. It's safe to assume that their relationship is built for the sake of Ayanokoji, so an exam that includes all 3 grades should be a perfect chance for them to start doing something, especially because Ayanokoji is currently on fire. Depending on the next exam rules, there should be a way for Harikita to make contact with Ishigami, either by proposing cooperation between classes, or a simple talk during break. There is a chance Ishigami will help Harikita to fight Ayanokoji, but let's not put our expectations too high, because there is no guarantee that Ayanokoji's defeat aligns with Ishigami's agenda. So far we still didn't know what Ishigami's purpose is, or which side he is actually on, so this new exam should be perfect to give us a picture of every faction currently exists in ANHS. We already knew that Tsubasa is working with Tsukishiro, and Ishigami said that he came to ANHS because of Atsuomi's suggestion, but some other mysterious students such as Shiraishi and Utomiya still need some explanation. Since Ishigami was portrayed to be a really smart student, there is a chance he actually knew every person that could pose a threat to him. So his character might become a key to open every connection, and since he surprisingly created a connection with Harikita, Harikita will eventually become the center of conflict. It might be too much for Harikita to suddenly involved with the White Room problem, but I do believe the next exam will change her image in the eyes of some people. With Ishigami finally coming out to the surface, we will learn more about the White Room and Atsuomi, and if Ishigami takes an action, the others will have no choice but to also reveal themselves. If Ishigami starts to take action, that means the others will have no choice but to reveal themselves, and the people in question here are none other than Tsubasa, Shiraishi, Utomiya, and maybe the new first-year student. Tsubasa's conversation with Shiraishi doesn't reveal too much for us to draw a conclusion, but at least we know that they are linked with Tsukishiro, even though it's unclear if Tsukishiro actually works for Atsuomi. The connection between Shiraishi and Utomiya is also just a speculation based on Ayanokoji's gym schedule, but the new first-year student is certainly linked with Utomiya, so if Utomiya is connected to Shiraishi, that means Tsukishiro has at least 4 students in his control. However, since Shiraishi said that she is just an observer, she wouldn't interfere with what Tsubasa does, but we still don't know what her relationship with Sakayanagi is, so Shiraishi's role still needs to be observed. As for their role in the next exam, I have a feeling that they will play a more antagonistic role. The first-year student has been mentioned to be very athletic, and Utomiya also stated to be a strong person despite we never seeing him in a fight. So it feels like a waste to not have them face a proper opponent, especially since the next volume is still an uninhabited island exam. However, volume to third-year arc show us that Ishigami is the one who took the initiative to handle Tsubasa, so we could assume that he will move based on the plan that Tsubasa has in mind. As for Tsubasa, what she is planning to do is still unclear, but her intention is clear, which is to save Ayanokoji from the worst fate. Her goal should be aligned with Horikita, so whether Ishigami is actually guiding Horikita to her also better to be explained in the next volume. I actually have a high expectation for this encounter, because this will directly change the direction of the story. Horikita also has a chance to gain more allies to support her, so even if she loses, at least she has already prepared the card for revenge in the future. More characters involved could make her irrelevant, but if handled correctly, this could be a chance for Horikita to actually outshine the others, so let's pray Kinugasa will handle her character correctly. Other than unexpected, the announcement of the new exam also feels a little weird thanks to the scale and the time when it took place. According to Yagami in volume to second year arc, an exam with the scale of the island exam is usually only done once per grade, so the second and third year island exams that involve a whole school are actually an anomaly. The second year island exam was understandable since we knew Tsukishiro had his own agenda, so it's just natural to think this new island exam has its own agenda behind the scenes. If that's really the case, I really hope we will actually see something related to the political side, because we barely got any new information ever since Atsuomi left the school. It's actually possible that this exam exists because Prime Minister Kijima pulling the strings behind the scenes, but it's also possible that Tsukishiro or Atsuomi already knew about it beforehand, and sent their instruction. Their purpose is definitely the competition between Ayanokoji and Kouenji, and if they're really going that far to prepare a really big exam for them, then contrary to the first point, it's actually a bit disappointing if they end up only having a small brawl. However, Kijima and Atsuomi's involvement is already enough to create a hype, so no matter how the exam will end, the next volume will be a history where they score their first blood. It's hard to think that they will make an appearance in the next volume, but they will definitely make a move using their pawn that they have prepared. If they interfere too much, I wonder how Ayanokoji will react to having his little experiment disturbed. Maybe he will accept it as a challenge, or maybe he will deal with them to the point they will never mess with him again. I guess the first possibility is more plausible, but even for Ayanokoji, getting rid of them will take at least a couple volumes, so the next volume will only mark the beginning of their conflict. Their conflict will definitely become the main topic for years to come, and unless something big happens that will cause this series to get axed, we will still see more of them in the sequel after graduation. However, as the saying goes, the first impression is everything, so let's just hope both of these politicians could live up to their hype.